Okay, mic check. Let's see if everything is working properly. Thanks, Des. Appreciate that. Running into, I don't want to call it exactly, what's it called? Technical difficulties. Just like part of streaming, it's just constantly like dealing with tech stuff and making sure everything works right. And, I'm sorry I'm a bit late today. Just that's what was going on. Just kind of happens all the time, basically, is what I'm getting at. Alrighty. All right, let's see. I can switch over. Alrighty. Yep. Basecam is not working. All right. Now it's working. Hello. Oh, I forgot to put my hair down. Have you seen the disturbed version of The Sound of Silence? Yes. Not on Conan. But I've seen the video, the music video for it. It's really good. He does a great job of that of that one. All right. Well, this isn't good. I lost my reference. Let's see if I can find it. All right. Let's see. I literally don't know where my reference is right now. That's not good. Ah, here we go. All right, found it, found it, found it. Sorry, I am clearly disorganized today. Obviously I was at work and also I was trying to edit a video, which I did get that video edited. It just didn't get it edited in time to upload it for today, unfortunately. So it'll be tomorrow. But it's a very short 2-minute video, which will be, you know, cut up into bits for Instagram about color palettes. So that is coming, I guess, tomorrow. And then for anybody who didn't see, okay, I have two announcements. One, I have a workshop happening. Sorry for everyone who's heard about this already. I have a workshop. I keep talking about it, but I have a workshop starting June 20th. It's 4 weeks. It's online. There's a link in the description and all that. And then the other thing is I actually have a blog post up on my website, which is very minimal, but it has, what is it? Just some brush recommendations. So if you need, if you're looking to buy brushes for oil painting, check it out. I just messed it up. I worked so hard to get that perfect. All right. How you doing, Des? How's the project coming along? Project is okay. I sketched out another sitter. Good. Is this project open for other people, or is it limited to you and your sister and your mom? Or are you all looking for are you looking for other people to participate in it? But you have a weird story to tell me about it? Okay. Is this a story for right now or later? All right. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm oiling out right now using oleo gel, but I can't always see uh, all the areas that I've oiled out. So I get at an angle with get low at an angle with my painting, and I can see it better. Your sister hasn't mentioned inviting anyone else. I think she expects artists to be paid. Well, I mean, yeah, artists are do expect to get paid, but also artists do charity related stuff too, you know. I'm actually looking at a local charity that's not run by, but they're in partnership with a local gallery. And so I'm trying to see, I might be participating in their charity event. Oh, I see. She's busy doing that other stuff, getting her, what is it, camping dome ready for renting? Okay, I see. Okay, story time. Might take you a minute to type it out. All right. You can type it into the Discord if it's easier. There's a longer, what's it called? Limit or whatever it is. Alrighty. Let's get cracking on this. I say that and then I forget a key ingredient to oil painting. By the way, pro tip, if you wanna paint in oils or acrylics or pretty much any medium, generally speaking, you should have your tools ready to go. Like, your brushes or something like that. I totally forgot to grab them. Really hard to paint if you don't have your painting tools. Uh, so it'll take me just a minute to get these ready. So, question to Des and to anyone else watching, and if you're watching this after the fact, also, um, if you had to choose between live content like this or pre-recorded content, kind of like this, but pre-recorded, which way would you lean? I'm curious. Hey, Cody. Just stopped in for a bit. Love the um, dim lighting on this one. Yeah, thanks, man. Good to see you, Cody. How you doing? Cody is the head of Sparrow Art Center, who I'm partnering with to for the workshop. So worth mentioning. I assume that's not a secret. If it is, I'm sorry I ruined it. I thought that was not a secret though. Never know. Sometimes people have like, private accounts that they don't want to share things with. All right, let's see. Des is saying a lot right now. All right. Des says, I like live streams because I can chat with the person in my social time, but I also like to watch pre-recorded videos. I've been watching some order house cleaning videos lately. Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. I know it's nice to chat too. I don't know, I'm trying to figure things out. The uh the live thing is much better for me right now while I'm working, but when I'm not working, after things kind of change and I'm not going to be working as much until I get another job, I was thinking about changing up my format a bit. So I don't know. We'll see. Things are a little up in the air, but that's the nature of things. They kind of, you know, ebb and flow. That's way too light. That says pre-recorded videos would be potentially handy for you because you could take a break and come back to it if needed. But again, I like being able to chat with you and others who come in. Yeah, I get that. Get that. We'll see. We'll see what can be done. I don't know. Pre-recorded, yeah, the breaks, I'm not really worried too much about that. It's really the benefits of pre-recorded are like um it's faster. Well, my painting's faster, not editing and everything is not faster. So that's a lot more work. But I think some people prefer, recorded videos so they can like, I don't know, zoom through it. They're also shorter, usually. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, not everything's about getting the most viewers. That's not really the priority of everything. Um, but it is a consideration. It's not the number one priority, but it is a consideration. The reason I say it's not the only consideration is because um, I don't want people to think I'm a sellout. Just kidding. No, the reason is because I don't want to. And selling out is not the right term. It's more an issue of like, you don't want to get stuck doing things you don't enjoy doing. And if you do everything chasing notoriety, then even if you get it, you might end up regretting it. Um, and just because I don't want to shit on some people, but I do know some people like that. And I get it. People, they think that they can get the notoriety and then transition into whatever it is they want. And there's a degree of truth to that, but it is it's not universal. It depends what people know you for and why they follow you. Not easy to do. So that's why I say it's not the only consideration. So I wanted to address something from one of my critiques recently. I gave someone some feedback, and one of the things I'd mentioned in the feedback was edges, and they had made the person who I critiqued made the comment that they don't really, not really a huge consideration for them at the moment, but that, they need to like start thinking about that stuff. And I wanted to talk about it, not relating to that person specifically, because that's no, I just want to talk about edges in general and why you would want to pay attention to them and, all the details around them. Let's see. Before that, someone says sometimes it's unintentional, like painting something once and then people start asking for more. And then you're that painter all of a sudden. Yeah, that can happen for sure, Cody. But at least if that's the case, at least most likely it's because at least they like a portion of your painting, right? It's not for like a social media stunt that gets you you know what I mean? At least there's a through line there. So hopefully you can transition out of that a little bit, hopefully. Uh, but yeah, edges are so important in painting. And you know, you have your hard edges, your soft edges, and lost edges. I don't know if there's any other edges. I've never heard of them if there are. Um, but yeah, the having hard edges tend to like attract attention. Soft edges, lost edges give more atmospheric feeling. It can give the feeling of being hazy, um, but also, it can feel like there's nothing to focus on if that's all you have. So you want a variety. Generally speaking, you want a variety. You don't want just one or the other. Generally speaking. Of course, some artists will do just one. There are no hard rules in art. There's always someone who's going to break the rules. So yeah. But yeah, that's it just adds so much to the atmosphere of everything. And it is very challenging when you first start painting. Actually, not just when you first start. It's just challenging in general, but painting's challenging in general, but what I'm really trying to say is that it can be challenging to give up on all those details that you worked so hard to put in and paint. It can be so difficult sometimes to give up on all of that just to get more like mood in your painting. You know what I mean? And and yet, uh, I feel like that mood is so vital. Um, at least in my paintings, I feel like it's that vital that I will give up details and I will make a painting that is, you know, less detailed and less difficult, technically speaking, and and is less showing off that I can paint everything in order to get that mood in. But it's not easy because personally, when I first started drawing and everything, I was much more like into details than I currently am. And being able to show that you can do all those details is so like when you're first starting out, it's so important to show that you have the ability to do things. And later on, it's like, yeah, I have the ability, but that's not really the question. So it's, do I make the right choices now or not? And not that there are technically right choices. You know what I mean? So yeah, showing restraint sometimes is so challenging. I used to have an art teacher that like constantly was like, less is more, less is more. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes more is more though, but also less is more sometimes too. Yeah, going back to the edges a little bit because I wouldn't say got off topic, but I went down a particular rabbit hole with them. Um, but yeah, getting a variety of edges is, I think, important, but also, um, the my approach to edges, generally speaking, is I try, obviously, sharp, soft, all that partially depends on like how clear or well defined do I want something to be, because that will obviously determine how sharp the edge is. But there are other considerations, and the main one being like areas of focus. Where do I want the attention and the focus to be? And usually I try and pick 1 to 3 places that I want to be the main focus, and that those are the areas that get the hardest edges. Everything else gets kind of soft to lost edges, with some exceptions, which is usually the all the very heavy impasto stuff that I do. That usually, that stuff tends towards the very what's it called? That leans into the hard edges, although it doesn't have to. It lends itself to hard edges without a doubt. But there's a catch. You can actually do extremely hard edges and soft edges at the same time. Um, it's it is challenging, but it is very doable. And so what I mean by that is, um, you could paint a painting with nothing but hard edges, like literally stamp, like, you know, if you did it on a computer, like literally hard squares, you can do that. And yet, if you are deliberate enough and careful enough with your values and your colors, you can make it appear to be a very soft painting until they get close enough to see all the stamped edges. So it only works at a distance, but that can be a very interesting effect. And I don't view that effect as a negative. I actually think of it as being very positive. Like I like stuff like that. What I've been doing lately with my paintings is I will soften edges, even when I am planning on going back in and making them harder. Um, a lot of times because I plan. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Uh, I plan on going back into some spots with like a thick paint and getting in the hard edge that way. So I first soften up the edge with the plan of like making it, going in with thick paint. Same with colors. I've been doing that too, um, where I purposefully will do like more flat colors or more dark colors a lot of times. Usually it's more in the dark um, and then go in with a light, like in a light impasto, and put that in. I think I've said this, well, I've definitely said this before, and I just don't remember when, but all the people who do like very like quote unquote loose paintings and very like um painterly paintings and everything, uh all those paintings that look like they're done very quickly and haphazardly kind of thing, a lot of times, not all of them, it depends, but a lot of times those painters are the most meticulous, and they consider every single stroke before they put it down, because they basically try to put down a stroke once and just leave it. I'm not quite that precise. And I feel like trying to force myself to be that precise uh, works against me. So I just don't bother. I am doing something I would not recommend in this painting to most people to do, um, which is I am using, uh, I'm not using like the original palette that I started this painting with. I'm using I'm using that plus some extra colors. The reason for that is I have it on my palette and they're going to go to waste if I don't use them. So I'm using it, um, but it's not generally recommended to do that. I um, feel like I have enough control that it's not going to look like I grabbed suddenly different paints and made it, and painted with those, but I do have to be aware of that. The reason I don't recommend it is because, generally speaking, what can happen is, um, when you use a separate palette, like essentially using a different palette midway through, uh, your painting can look a little disjointed. Like I said, I don't think that's going to be a problem, but I am aware of it. That's the advantage of what's it called? Um, Limited palettes. Tend to be to unify your painting because you're using no color seems out of place because it's kind of used throughout the whole painting process everywhere. Speaking of artists locking themselves into something, I I actually might be painting or attempting. I think I'll pull it off, but I'll probably be painting a landscape soon for this charity thing. We'll see how it comes out, you know. If it doesn't come out, you'll never hear about this again. Uh, but yeah, landscape shutter. I know it's worse than that. It's even got like it's got man-made things, so it's got to be, you know, all like straight lines and crap. Yeah, generally the problem I have, okay, this is something that me and Nicholas Uribe never kind of see eye to eye on. All right. He has found like he is like a Zen, you know, monk or something, because like to him anything you paint is interesting just by like the act of painting makes it interesting for him. I am not like that. There are definitely subject matters I find more interesting and less interesting. And landscapes and still lives, um, and pet portraits, generally speaking, don't interest me that much. I'm going to try and pet portrait at some point. I'm going to paint Dresden, and maybe I'll find it a little more interesting. Um, but yeah, they just don't. The reason I don't do more of them is because they don't really interest me. It's real simple. If I found them more interesting, I'd do more of them. So trying to paint something that you're not all that into um, can be challenging. And also, there's the challenge of like not being good at it because you don't do it, and it feeds itself, of course. And I still have to schedule what's it called? Our next portrait artist of the year. Gotta schedule that. It's going to have to. I'm not saying it's going to wait until the workshop, but at first I have to get this. I have to get certain materials ready for the workshop first before I can take the time to get the materials ready for landscape artist. I mean, portrait artist of the year paint along again. I also want to give it a little more lead up than I did last time because I want people to be ready to go and, get the hype up kind of thing. Because one of my favorite parts about Portrait Artist of the Year Paint Along was the, paint along aspect of it, seeing other people's work. I thought that was so much fun. And so I want more people to participate if possible. I would do a portrait artist, I mean, a landscape artist of the year paint along, but I feel like it's pointless. Like, if you're not there, I don't think that the reference that we could get off of the TV show would be worth doing. Even portrait artist of the year is a little, it's a little iffy, but like you can kind of get the idea. The colors are never going to be right compared to like in person, but what you gonna do? I just realized I need to go back into my brush recommendation and put a little blurb about like the shapes of brushes that I prefer personally. Yeah, gotta call it a night. Early morning tomorrow. Painting is looking great. Oh, thanks, Cody. Thanks so much. No worries. Have a good night, man. And have a good night if I didn't say it already. Sometimes it's hard to see your colors accurately, especially because colors are so, like the way we see colors, it's so, relative. And sometimes you wanna lean into the relativity, and sometimes you want to, um, lean into the, like, non-relativity of the colors, but bottom line, it can be, hard to judge your colors and values sometimes, so, uh literally just doing like little test marks is absolutely a valid way of testing sometimes. Nothing wrong with that. Des says, wow, for some reason the stream failed. I had to refresh. Oh, well, I assume it's working now, so I'm glad. Yes. Uh, yes, YouTube. I know, I know. I'm not speaking. YouTube constantly warns me that my something's wrong with my audio because there's no audio coming from my stream. Uh, YouTube can stuff it? Yeah. I mean, I guess not a lot of people are as quiet, you know, generally speaking, when they stream, which I can understand. It's not probably as common, but, at the same time, like, you appreciate calm streamers. If people are loud or constantly demanding my brain attention, I go elsewhere. Uh, yeah, I'm sure some people, like you and other people, I'm sure there are other people like you who appreciate it. I mean, Bob Ross, you know, is beloved almost for that reason, right? Like that's one of the reasons. But yeah, the reason I decided not to play music on my stream is, I mean, it is because of the YouTube copyright system. That is a factor. Um, but also, I realized there's going to be a lot of people who just don't like my music. And even if they like it, they might not want to listen to it all the time. So I'm just not going to play my music. And if people want to listen to music while they watch me, um, they can listen to whatever music they like. Alright. My hands need a second to breathe. Oh, 9:40 isn't too late for coffee, right? Is it ever too late for coffee? A good question. I don't think so. When you have a high tolerance, uh, I mean, I'm pretty sure the amount of caffeine I've ingested in the past would have put some people. Oh, I don't know if it would have done damage, but they would have probably gone to the emergency room just to make sure. uh, Not a good thing. I just didn't realize I was self-medicating for years, you know. That's the problem. I remember when I needed to pull all-nighters in my early 20s, I would drink like 3 cups of Turkish coffee a night just to keep going throughout the night. And that was, of course, just what I had at night, not all day. But yeah, if anyone's watching this and you have like an insanely high tolerance for caffeine, you might want to see if you have ADHD, undiagnosed ADHD. I'm not a doctor. I don't know for sure, but like that was my experience. One thing you almost will never see me do when painting is grab like a big brush or a very like soft brush and just kind of like feather smear everything around. I know there are some artists that do that. I basically almost never do that. But and the reason is because when I try and paint transitions, I try not to just blend between the two colors that are there, but rather I try and mix the in between color because a lot of times there'll be nuances that I put in there as far as like saturation and even hue. A lot of times there'll be hue shifts in it and so on. I'm not saying you never blend some of the colors on the canvas at all, but like that is not how I blend generally. There are times where doing using a mop brush to just kind of blend between things is appropriate. I don't want it to sound like you should never do that, but it is something that I would use very sparingly. I don't know what it is about these types of gloves, but I really find it harder to open these tubes of paint when I have the gloves on. Des says I keep forgetting to put on gloves. I bought a big box at Costco. Yeah, I buy them at Costco too. It's not mandatory to wear gloves. A lot of the pigments, you know, most likely won't be very harmful if you just get them on your skin a little bit. That's my understanding. Obviously, none is better, but you know, depends on the companies too. Um, some of these pigments are toxic. There's no getting around that. But when you have pets and stuff like that, it's good to have clean hands when you need them. And yeah, I know you have pets or kids too. Yeah. Does this house have to deal with the dogs through my chihuahua keeps wanting to be picked up. And I have to make, and I'm sure he'd lick it off if he found any residue on him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If an animal does get if let's say an accident happens and one of your pets gets what's it called? Does get some paint on it. My understanding is one of the best ways of taking it off is uh vegetable oil, like you know, cooking oil or coconut oil. Um, all of those oils will dissolve the paint. Uh, and then, as far as I know, those are relatively, not a vet, so like don't hold me to this, but my understanding is those are pretty safe for most animals. To get most of it off, then you're probably going to have to use some water and soap. But yeah. And that color, the black here is just a little, that's going to need some work. Didn't come out quite how I wanted it to. Oh well. My dogs got in trouble tonight. I went out to the deck, do my sketch on canvas. It was so nice today, about 70 degrees. While you were outside, they went inside, tearing apart the garbage bag. Uh, that sucks. Yeah, that sucks. They know I'm not happy. They haven't bugged me once tonight, and it's very late for their bedtime. Wait, do they bug you to go to bed? Yes, they went to their bed. Wait, yes. Oh, they want their bed treat right around 10 p.m. each night. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. I know some people their dogs will or cats will like, because they sleep with them, they'll like bug them to sleep if they stay up later than normal. That is not a problem I have with my animals. I taught them early on, I stay up late. Hey, Donley. Welcome. How you doing, man? Hey, no worries, Donley. Thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you. Yeah, that's way too light. I have to get rid of that. You were working on my portrait a little today? Okay. Which one? From the what's it called? Um uh Drawn Together? Oh, thanks, man. Have a good night. The angry looking one. And that narrows it down. People think my face looks angry even when I'm not angry. I don't know what to do about that exactly. Okay, this yellow and this yellow are a little too bright. However, I might leave it because I do like that reflection happening. So I might end up leaving it even though they're too bright. It's worth remembering that the reference is uh, there to build off of, not to be a slave of it. Even though I really like using, what's it called? Um, all the different implements like mm, uh, palette knives and the other thing. Worth remembering that you don't have to just accept what it gives you. You can go back in and modify it, right? I mean, you do lose some of the like the magic of it because the whole point is to get all that like, that look, but it's not always magic, right? Like it doesn't always come out right. So, like with this one right now, the edges of the palette knife was making these shapes that I don't want. So, this shape I'm fine with. It's the ones over here that I don't like. Back. I'm glad you're back, Des. So apparently I slightly, I didn't like, I don't know if messed up's the right word, but like I was using my rag and I didn't realize that some of the paint was on the other side. Um, so my gloves are now full of quinacridone rose. This is why having gloves is so good, because this um, would get everywhere otherwise. So, to all the painters who don't use gloves, that's why. Don't get me wrong, I hate wearing the gloves. I really do. I wish it would be so much more pleasant to paint without them. Except for when this happens and you get all this on you. Because personally, I hate getting my hands dirty with paint. Actually, I think I'm probably going to be calling it a night. I'm tired and I can feel my concentration slipping. I will be back on Thursday. And a final reminder, I have a workshop happening. There's details in the, you know, what's it called? Oh, jeez. In the description, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, there's details in the description. And I will be back on Thursday. I stream Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday afternoon, or Sunday evening, depending on your definition. Yeah. I have a shop. You can check it out. All the normal things. Just go to my website and subscribe, like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. I don't know. My brain's not working anymore. I'm tired. So, thank you everyone who's been here. I appreciate it. I hope to see you back next on Thursday. I don't know. Sorry. Like I said, my brain's now just like not working anymore. Have a good night, everybody. Sorry that you came back for such a short time, Des, but I gotta go. Have a good night.